Hey guys, welcome to the lesson on how to solve a problem. You may not know this, but learning how to appropriately deal with and solve problems is actually a skill set. And that's what we're going to talk about in this lesson, because when you're designing your dream life, you're going to have problems and obstacles come up, and your ability to deal with them and solve them is going to directly correlate with your likelihood of success. Remember, there is no place where you arrive where you're problem free. So you need to learn how to solve problems, because for the rest of your life, I can guarantee you're going to have problems. So kind of just say, all right, well, that's the way it is whether I design my dream life or not. So I might as well go for it. At the heart of solving problems is your ability to be resilient. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's that toughness. So when things come your way that you don't anticipate, if you have resilience, you'll be able to work through them without kind of letting it derail you and, stopping and starting your goals and that sort of thing. You want to stay on track and be prepared to solve problems that you don't anticipate. So let's go through my step-by-step process. Step one is identifying the problem. I want you to list out the facts, just the facts. This is like stuff that can be proven in a court of law of the problem, not your opinion about it. I didn't get the job as an example. I gained weight as an example. My friend didn't invite me as an example. My spouse came home late as an example. My mom was diagnosed with a disease as an example. Problems that can be listed out as facts. Now, if you can't list out the facts and there's not a problem and you're just sort of like dwelling in like drama of something that happened in the past, but it's not like a problem, you need to stop dwelling in the self-pity and just stop, because there's nothing to solve. I'm talking about here in this lesson, problems that can actually be solved. Step two is to identify the cause of the problem. I want you to really get, if nothing else from this lesson, the importance of solving the cause of the problem. So step two is where you identify the cause of the problem. It's not enough to just identify like fixing the symptom. You have to look back and see what caused the actual problem. And I love to give the analogy of if you kind of broke your leg and went to the doctor, she might give you pain medicine if she never asked you what happened. She just gives you pain medicine and the pain keeps coming back because your leg is broken, but you just keep going and getting pain medicine. And the pain medicine is working to relieve the symptom, but this pain keeps coming back because you haven't addressed the fact that you broke your leg. So the same thing, I want you to use that analogy when you're looking at a problem. If you just fix the symptom, the problem is going to keep coming back. Step three is I want you to make sure you separate your thoughts from the facts. So I want you to ask yourself how you're thinking about the problem and make a list of all of your thoughts about the problem. And this will help you identify if part of the problem is how you're thinking about the problem. So make sure you aren't making it mean something, or if you are, write it down. If you didn't get invited, are you making that mean something about your relationship, that sort of thing, versus just the facts are you didn't get invited. Analyze how you're thinking about the problem in this step. So again, if your air conditioner breaks, are you making it mean that you're going to be miserable? So it's really important that when you're problem solving, it's not necessarily important that you stop thinking this way. That would be ideal, but the key here is just to separate it out so that you're very aware that how you're thinking about the problem is making the problem worse or making the problem mean whatever you're making it mean. Step four is some tips for really being able to solve the problem and not sitting in that self-pity and resisting and avoiding and reacting. So you're probably going to be tempted to do all this stuff because everyone treats problem differently. So you might be an avoider or you might be a reactor. And I want you to, this is its own step. I just want you to stop yourself and make sure that you are not doing these things. So if it's a big problem and you just found out about it, really practice kind of being with yourself and experiencing the emotion instead of resisting, avoiding, or reacting to the problem. And a good way to do this is to practice deep breathing. Breathe from your stomach, notice your breaths, make sure that you're separating your thoughts from your feelings and just sit with it. Breathe in and out and watch your thoughts and feel your feelings. This is really what meditation's about. Don't blame or control, even if it's someone else's fault. We can't change that. So blaming does not solve the problem. You can only deal with your part of it for the future. So even if you were a victim, if you were hit by a car and someone else hit you, you were literally like a victim in that situation. But it doesn't do you any service for your future by blaming or controlling the person who hit you. You don't want to take responsibility for, getting in the car accident, but you want to take responsibility for how you can solve the problem. So there's that difference there. So make sure you're not blaming or controlling. Here are the examples that I've been talking about let's say another one would be like your dad is relying on you for something that he's capable of doing as an adult, and he's overstepping boundaries and trying to kind of emotionally manipulate you. You have to learn to let it go and basically feel the pain and be with it, and not step in and try to fix something that an adult is fully capable and responsible for doing himself. So there's some boundaries here, and it depends what your problem is, right? That's a very different problem than if you get rear-ended or your friend didn't invite you. So all of these are going to be very, very different. Step 5 is find a simple solution to the cause of the problem. If you solve the cause, it won't come back. If you fix the symptom, it will come back. So I want you to spend some time coming up with solutions to the cause of the problem. Another way to do this would be to not only brainstorm, but to ask yourself, what's the simplest way to solve this problem? Just ask yourself that over and over and over. Make a list of simple solutions. I don't want them to be complex, because usually you're too far in the weeds and you're making it complex for no reason. Take a step back, look at it with fresh eyes, and come up with a simple solution to the cause of the problem. I also love asking anytime I'm trying to solve a problem, what would love do? Now, this might be really useful if it's a problem in a relationship, or even if you're dealing with a customer service person on the phone and a mistake was made, and that might be helpful. What would love do? Just to be kinder and come from a place of love. But what would love do might not work if you're solving a problem at work. That's very solution oriented, where you need to come up with a strategy for something. Like that might not work, but I love asking it whenever it does work. Remember, don't fix the cause of don't try to fix the symptom of the problem. So if you have ever tried to lose weight and succeeded by following a specific diet, you know what I'm talking about here, because right when you go off that diet, the weight comes back. What's happening here is that you kind of are focusing on the action level, and you're focusing on the symptom instead of focusing on the root cause. So you really, really want to make sure that you're focusing on the cause, not the symptom. Again, another one would be the problem of overspending. You don't solve this problem by cutting up your credit cards. And I have in here, although that's not a bad first step. No, because you have to solve the problem by working on your money mindset and figuring out why you're overspending in the first place, because that is where the real change is going to happen. So I want you to not fix the symptom of the problem. I want you to solve the cause of the problem. Remember that you're supposed to have problems, and that the biggest problem most people have is that they think they shouldn't have any. So give yourself a break. It is kind of tough stuff to do, but it's so important. So again, here is a list of the steps to solving a problem. First, you identify the problem. This would be the facts. Identify the cause of the problem. So why did this happen? This should be this is the most important step. It's like the very deep thinking. What caused this problem to happen? Separate your thoughts from the facts. Make sure that you're not making it worse. What are you making it mean? All of that stuff. You want to just make sure that you're solving the cause of the facts, and you're not, kind of indulging in your thoughts and making it mean something worse. Step 4 is making sure you're not resisting, avoiding, reacting, don't control, don't blame, all of that stuff. It's its own step, because if you do the other steps without that step, you could still be sitting in blame and resisting and avoiding and reacting, and no one wants that. And then step 5 is where you find a simple solution to the cause of the problem. Again, make sure that it's that simple solution and you're getting at the cause, you're not fixing. All right, that is it for this lesson. Now go forth and practice solving a problem. All right, I'll see you in the next lesson.